We have a huge NHL blockbuster trade. The Pierre-Luc Dubois saga in Winnipeg has come to a close. He's on his way to the LA Kings for a huge package. We'll discuss the full deal coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have a huge blockbuster trade in the NHL involving Pierre-Luc Dubois, the Winnipeg Jets, and the Los Angeles Kings. We've heard for quite some time now that we knew Dubois wasn't going to sign at Winnipeg, and it was extremely likely, he was going to be traded in a sign-and trade, either to the Los Angeles Kings, possibly the Montreal Canadiens. Lots of talk in the last year that Dubois preferred to go to the Habs, but recently at the end of the year, we heard that there was a few other teams he was open to going to where he would sign a long-term extension. So LA obviously had a lot better trade package they could put together, made more sense for them than the Habs in a lot of ways. So we have ourselves finally a blockbuster deal after all here is said and done. So Pierre-Luc Dubois goes to the Los Angeles Kings with an 8-year contract extension valued at $68 million, which gives him an average annual value of $8.5 million. So that's a mega long-term extension. It's believed to have some no trade protection in there. All the full language of that has not been officially released as of yet. So check the pinned comment below. I will update that once I know the full details, but I believe it has a full no trade through majority of the deal. But we'll check that out just to be sure. It's also believed that going along with Dubois is Jansen Harkins to the Los Angeles Kings from Winnipeg as well. But Kevin Cheveldayoff by the Winnipeg Jets are getting themselves a nice haul in return. They're getting themselves Gabe Vilardi, who's a pending RFA, who is a solid top 6 center. Now, the only issue with Vilardi is that he's dealt with a lot of significant back issues in his young career. But lately, in the last couple of years, it looks like a lot of that's been overcome. He's played a lot more, been a lot healthier, and a lot more productive. I mean, in junior, he was a really good prospect, a highly touted guy with a lot of offensive ability. If he can get everything sorted out, he has a real solid potential here to be a really good top 6 centerman for a long time for Winnipeg. They're also getting Alex Iafallo, who's a pretty good middle 6 forward as well, signed for a couple more years at $4 million. So he's a pretty good forward. He can certainly play a role for Winnipeg and slot in there in one of their open spots. And they're also getting Rasmus Kupari, who's also a former first-round pick. Another one of LA has a lot of prospects that hasn't really fully realized their potential. And I think a lot of that is because they went about this rebuild in a different kind of way. They had started drafting all these young kids and these prospects, but then they really haven't given a lot of them a real fair shot, in my opinion, on playing a big role. They keep making trades and bringing in other players, but hey, at the same time, I guess they've been able to win more games. They've been able to move along the rebuild, be more competitive, get in the playoffs. So they're a good competitive team. So it's worked out for them, but imagine they're going to need some of these kids to really step up here because they're going to be really tight up against the cap here after all this. Now, Kupari is also a pending restricted free agent. So Vilardi and Kupari will need new deals with Winnipeg. They're not going to be super expensive because they're still kind of establishing themselves in a sense here. They also get a 2024 second-round pick. So that's 4 really good assets for Cheveldayoff and the Jets for a player that really has made it known for some time did not want to be there, and really for a team who looked like they didn't have very much leverage. A lot of people thought, myself included, the return might be very underwhelming because Dubois held a lot of the cards. But because he was willing to do the sign and trade, it did make things a lot easier and put his value up. And obviously the Kings valued him enough and at the same time had to move money out because of their cap situation. Winnipeg was able to take advantage of that. So obviously getting Vilardi, Iafallo, Kupari, and a second-round pick for Dubois, who signs an 8-year, $8.5 million per season deal, is a good deal for Winnipeg. It's the best I think they could have done. I think Cheveldayoff did good under difficult circumstances here. I guess we'll have to see how this works out for LA. They definitely need goaltending help, and now they're going to be really tight up against the cap. So I'm not sure how they're going to decide to address that situation. That's going to be interesting for sure. They've already addressed some needs on the blue line. Be interesting to see as well with Todd McLellan, the head coach, how they kind of rejig the lineup. This pretty much confirms that they're not going to be putting Quentin Byfield as a center for some time. I mean, they've now got Kopitar, Dubois, and Danault. I mean, Phil Danault is more typically a number 3 center, but number 3 who can give you good offense, or, he can move up on the lineup too. But Byfield probably going to have to play on the wing. I do wonder what his long-term future holds in LA. We'll have to see. That's going to be one of the players I kind of want to watch and see how this impacts, and some of the remaining roster spots that have some question marks on them are, like I said, likely going to have to be filled by some of their prospects stepping out, because they're really going to be tight up against it now. So Dubois goes to LA. It's finally official. Like I said, I'm just waiting on the confirmation of the no trade protection language in there. And if there's anything else that's been misreported or anything, I'll update the pinned comment. But the Dubois deal appears to be a done deal, with him signing the extension and going to the Kings. So let me know your thoughts on this blockbuster deal down in the comments. We'll talk about it further. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, analysis on all 32 NHL teams. It's going to be very busy here leading into the draft tomorrow. Free agency in a few days. We'll keep you up to date with everything here, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.